Hi, this goes along with our Test 5 Lesson 1. I'm looking at the second part of the worksheet, and I wanted to kind of help you with some of the problems that we have on the worksheet. So when I'm looking at, this says for 7 through 12, that we have LMNO is similar to HIJK, and we want to complete the proportions and the congruences. Okay, so they've given us which part corresponds with which part. So we're just going to look at that real quickly and let you see how easy this is. Okay, so I have that angle L is going to correspond to angle H. Likewise, I have angle M is going to correspond and be congruent to angle I. And you know this from our order. Angle N is going to be congruent to and correspond to angle J. And then, of course, that leaves us that angle O corresponds and is congruent to angle K. Okay, we can also kind of do it like this. I can say L and H correspond, M and I correspond, N and O correspond, no, N and J, sorry about that, N and J correspond, and then O and K correspond. And maybe that'll make this a little easier for you to look at. So when it says angle M is congruent to, let's go to angle M. I can either use the colors to see who matched with whom, or if I did the letters around, I say, okay, M and I are in the same position. So that would be angle I. All right, let's go down here. It says that I to J corresponds to M to N, and we know that because of this. Now, who does H to K correspond to? Again, we can match it up by colors, or we can say, here's HK. It corresponds to the distance from L to O. So that's one of the ways that you can do those problems. All right, let's look down at number 13. Number 13 says find the values of the variables for the given similar polygon. So they've already told us the polygons are similar. So I've got to figure out which segment corresponds with which segment. Well, based on the shape of these, I'm going to say that these two segments correspond. So I'm going to do 5 is to 3.3 as, and then I'm going to go, excuse me, 6 corresponds to x. Okay, so we've got our proportion. Now, what does that mean that we're going to do? We're going to cross multiply or do the means extremes property. Okay, so all you're going to do is cross multiply here, go upstairs and get 3.3 times 6, and go downstairs and get 5x. Okay, I don't have a calculator, so I'm going to have to say 3.3 times 6. That's going to be 8, carrier 1. That's 19.8 is equal to 5x. Then we divide both sides by 5. 5s will cancel out on the right side, and then 5 is going to go into 19.8. If you use your calculator, you'll find that you get 3.96 equals x. So for each of the problems, 14, 15, and 16, you're going to set up a proportion, and you're going to solve for the variable. Okay, then on the last part, it says that triangle WXZ is similar to DFG. Okay, so I can put my D, my F, and my G here. And I want you to look down here at this picture. That box kind of got carried away. He's supposed to be right down there, but he kind of got carried away. All right, it says find the similarity ratio for the two triangles. Okay, so I have that WX is 4, So WX and WX corresponds to D to F, and we have a number for D to F. So that's going to give me 4 to 6, which is 2 to 3. Now, figuring out the angles shouldn't be too big a problem. So I'm going to leave all those problems for you because you know there's 180 degrees in every triangle. All right, for D to G, if I'm looking for D to G, I don't know that I can find that quite yet because to find D to G, the distance from D to G, I'm going to have to know the distance from W to Z. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that one. I'm going to star that one. And I think I'm going to go ahead and find out what WZ is. All right, if you look at this triangle has a box in it. That means it's a right triangle. The right triangle always goes, whoop, there it is, and there's your hypotenuse. All right, if I'm looking for the hypotenuse of a right triangle, then in order to find it, I'm going to use something called the Pythagorean theorem, or in my class, we call it PT. So C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. The C squared represents the hypotenuse, so I don't know the hypotenuse. I have 3 squared plus 4 squared. So that C squared is equal to 9 plus 16 would be 25. Then I have to take the square root of both sides. So C is equal to 5. So that means I can put a 5 there. Well, now I'm ready to go back and find this length. So I'm going to take my scale factor, which is 2 to 3. Okay, 5 represented the hypotenuse here. We don't know the hypotenuse here. So I'm going to put H there. And let's see what we get. We're going to go upstairs and multiply. We get 15. Downstairs and multiply, we get 2H. Now we divide both sides by 2. I'm going to have to come over here. I get 15 over 2, or 7.5 equals H. Okay, so I can put 7.5 right here. Now, if I'm looking for this length, what would I do to find this length? I could either do the Pythagorean theorem with these two lengths, or I could set up my ratios. Okay, so I've given you a couple of hints for how to do these. I hope that makes your homework a little bit easier. And make sure you do it. Want everybody to have 100. Thanks. Bye.